I have no interest in the quote trade unquote portion of cap and trade and will not be intending to support that. There are other ways for us to have a lower carbon future.
Nobody in this country realizes that cap and trade is a tax, and it's a great big one. And so I want to get a bill that works.
This bill turns us to carbon offset derivative futures that will be insured by credit default swaps. How quickly they forget Wall Street and AIG and the damage they wrought in the financial sector.
We don't think it's too much for the consumer to ask, how much is this going to cost?
Anything you put in that effectively taxes carbon emissions is somebody's going to bear the brunt of it. In the case of a regulated utility, the utility customers are going to pay for it.
You're taking money from carbon-intensive states like Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and redistributing it to California, New York. That's just a very hard sell to our people at a time when they're hurting. And you also run the risk of taking jobs away and not actually solving global warming.
No one should have to choose between groceries and heat or medicine and electricity.
Children will definitely be affected by this if the bill gets passed.
And all I ask is that if we're going to do anything legislatively, is that we do it right the first time.
You are not representing the administration or certain leaders in the House and Senate.
People of this area will not support anyone who causes them to lose their job.
We're involved in the greatest economic demise since the Great Depression. The question that we ask ourselves and that we are asking consumers across this country is this the time to bring on additional costs? And what we're hearing is a resounding no.
Okay, well here's the thing. They get all these bills, and I don't think that they completely understand them.
Well, I certainly don't claim to know everything that's in this bill.
And I don't think we ever do.
The American consumer has heard a lot about the energy debate. They've heard Waxman-Markey, they've heard Boxer-Kerry, they've heard cap and trade. What we're really talking about here is energy legislation that's going to completely transform our energy infrastructure, the way our energy infrastructure works. And in its simplest form, what it is designed to do is to raise consumers' electric bills to such a point that it forces them to have to go and use another source of energy. That is what it is in its most elementary form. What it has in effect is a very potentially sinister impact on the consumer and on small business. Because as it attempts to raise that cost of energy, it means that not only will certain consumers be paying more in their energy bills, it means that there will be a massive transfer of wealth from certain parts of the country to those areas that have those natural resources available. We know that people in the South, the Southeast, many parts of the Midwest simply don't have the renewable resources that are defined in this narrowly defined bill.
Well, I think overall the bill is too ambitious and it's unrealistic.
Our opinion of the energy legislation that passed the House is quite frankly this. It is a great first step. The notion that we need to leave a cleaner environment for our children is something that Empower consumers warmly embraces. The question is, how do we go about providing that cleaner environment?
I think it's one of the worst examples of legislation without looking at all of the facts that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
No, they seem to jump into this pretty quick.
It's too comprehensive. For one thing, a lot of these issues need to be addressed separately and not in one huge bill.
If you're going to have legislation I think there should be a tariff placed on any product coming in this country from countries that do not comply with the same type of legislation that we have. The products that Walmart brings in and all these other companies that are bringing in products, they should be a tariff put on them to encourage a level playing field between the producers throughout the world.
We've never had to face a regulation by the government before, which is going to basically put coal out of business. That's kind of an affront, I think, for the people to have to face that without the government coming in and providing some kind of an alternative way for them to make a living.
First of all, it doesn't fully recognize the energy sources that we have in the Southeast. We've had hydroelectricity for 100 years. It works. It works right now in places like Alabama. But the bill kind of treats it like a stepchild instead of as a critical source of electricity. It really forces the Southeast and other parts of the country to use energy sources that don't make a lot of sense. We don't have a lot of solar here in the Southeast. We don't have a lot of wind. What we do have, what does work today, that produces absolutely no emissions, is hydroelectricity and nuclear, and yet the bill doesn't concentrate at all on those sources.
I'm very worried about it, primarily because of the cost that I think it would be to the citizens of the United States. The cap and trade tax, if you would.